do not lead a sheltered life. I've been in well over 100 countries. I generally go around the world 5-6 times a year. And it's one of the first times that my children had actually phoned me, each of them separately, and said, "Dad, do you really want to go to Najaf and Karbala?" And some of the car bombs which were reported on the BBC were actually literally within our hearing, as were some of the craters which related to it. So at one level, you had that concern about security, but I had no personal concern about being caught in anything other than the random violence, because I was with the Sheikh and with others where I was trying to be low profile as far as being a foreigner, but just joining the crowds who were walking. And so my risk, I don't think, as a foreigner, was any greater than anyone else who was there. So at one level, there was the concern about security, but that was quickly overtaken by an appreciation for the devotion which I appreciated among the crowd, not the crowds, but the pilgrims who were making the walk. I also have done nothing but work with charities for more than 30 years in many parts of the world. I mean, in the last month I was in China advising the government of China on their charity law. I was then in Labuan, Malaysia, because they have developed laws specifically related to Islamic charitable foundations. And what I witnessed on the walk was likely the single greatest act of charitable engagement by an entire population without any formal organizations. I mean, you had millions of meals that needed to be supplied. The government was not funding them. It wasn't being run by the military. It just seemed to spontaneously provide for millions of people needing to sleep at night, to be fed, all of this free. You could of course make donations, but in my quite extensive experience in charitable organization work in many countries in the world, I don't think I've seen something which was as significant and as operated as well as I did. How those the ordinary people came together and found their own ways of contributing to providing for the accommodation and food and sustenance of the people who were walking to Karbala.
How did you exactly feel when you entered the shrine of Hussein? Like, besides the security feeling, like when you entered there, like what exactly feelings did you get?
I was actually quite overwhelmed by the extent of the devotion and the piety and the emotion of the people who were around me. I unfortunately didn't know the language. I didn't understand the religious significance of everything I was witnessing, but there was no doubt that I was on hallowed territory in terms of the significance of the shrine to the people. I was fortunate that they were able to make arrangements for me to see some parts of the shrine which were not open to the public. I found that I was so honored I was almost embarrassed that for some people whose devotion and piety, that would have meant so much more than it did to me, you know, being a Christian, to be accorded those honor. But I also think that I felt deeply secure and appreciated that because of my personal faith, although it wasn't the same as yours, I felt respected and embraced, and that they took very seriously my questions, and they also took they also made me very genuinely feel welcome in that environment, and I was able to have, I think, some quite meaningful conversations with people both at the shrine and then subsequently. The shrine isn't the place where you'd have your deepest conversations, but subsequently meeting some of the ayatollahs and other religious leaders in their own environment where we had a better opportunity to talk.
Thank you very much. I know he's very busy, but he took time today, and it's amazing that you made it. You made it, and it's a very appreciate your time. Thank you very much. إن شاء الله راح نستمر ببرنامجنا. إخوان، بس أريد الأخوة يعني إذا هذا المكان فراغ دائما كل الأخوة